If you've been following my channel recently, then you know that I'm in full Zelda mode right now and making Zelda video after Zelda video after Zelda video ever since the new Deku Tree set came out. I have so many different ideas for things that I can make in Zelda out of LEGO. But a boy can only be so creative with the extra pieces that he has at home. Today I'd like to look to the future of the LEGO Zelda theme, assuming there will be one, and theorize on what kind of sets we could get from LEGO based on our favorite pointy-eared, green tight-wearing friend. Not that one. The first set on my list is the King of Red Lions, which seems like a no-brainer to me. It's probably the most famous of all the modes of transportation in Zelda games, other than maybe Epona. It would be a perfect smaller set in the theme to offset bigger ones like the $300 Deku Tree. Plus, I feel like the style of the Wind Waker fits really well with the aesthetic of LEGO, and its use of bright primary colors would be on full display. I envision this to be somewhere within the $30 to $50 range, with the boat, maybe a big octo or some warships that you encounter while on the Great Sea, and overall I'd be really happy if Wind Waker could make the cut for a new LEGO Zelda set. So I recently just got done playing Skyward Sword HD after not playing that game ever since the original came out in 2011 for the Wii, and this game holds a lot of fond memories for me. Similar to Wind Waker, I feel like the art style of Skyward Sword would be another great contender for a LEGO set, just due to all the bright colors that game possesses. The first thing that comes to my mind when thinking of Skyward Sword has got to be flying on Link's Crimson Loftwing. This could be another smaller set, similar to the King of Red Lions. I think accompanying it with a Sky Island or two, Beetle's airship, or the floating goddess statue would be a nice representation of Skyward Sword. Plus I would love to have a Fi minifigure, and most definitely want a Beetle minifigure.
Thank you!
Now on to what's easily one of my favorite Zelda games of all time, Link's Awakening. Specifically the Switch remake that came out in 2019. The art style of this game gives me the same vibe as to how Animal Crossing is represented in LEGO, with the large molded heads on minifigure bodies, and I think that's exactly how they should do this version of Link. The most notable part of this game is probably the Windfish's egg atop Telltale Mountain. This could be a bit of a bigger set if they wanted it to be, by building a bigger base for the mountain for the Windfish's egg to sit on. Perhaps this one could get into the $100 and up range. Getting some classic Zelda enemies like mini Moldorms or Tektites in LEGO form with the set would be a must. And this may be wishful thinking, but I would love a giant windfish in LEGO form similar to the whale piece that came in the LEGO City Arctic sets. Probably never gonna happen, but a boy can dream. Another one of my favorite Zelda games, A Link Between Worlds, could make for a more unique set in this roster for sure. Instead of the typical classic Hyrule Field or Hyrule Castle, I feel like this set could be an opportunity to do something different with the theme other than just sets with minifigures. Think about Link's main ability in this game, turning into a painting. And what is LEGO doing more and more of in the recent years? Art sets. The possibility of a LEGO art set mixed with The Legend of Zelda would be a dream come true for me. Being able to hang up a LEGO art set of Link's painting form would be such an amazing mix of Zelda and LEGO, and while it may be a long shot, I really think it could be something special. So I couldn't make this list without something from Ocarina of Time. Even though the Deku Tree set gives Ocarina of Time some representation, I wanted there to be a more medium-sized build for the game. I think recreating the final battle of Ocarina of Time in LEGO would be ideal. Making a large creature build for Ganon with his two large swords, along with some big pillars that could smash apart, as well as a reused Link minifigure from the Deku Tree and a new Zelda minifigure would be perfect. While the Deku Tree does have two enemies in the form of Deku Babas and Skulltulas, I feel like we need a nice boss character to fight. And making a big creature-style build for Ganon would be the perfect way to do it. Okay, forgive me, but I do have one more request for Ocarina of Time. One of the more memorable moments of that game, while there are many, is jumping the gap in the bridge in Gerudo Valley. This would be a perfect small-scale set at perhaps $20 to $40 that could have Link on Epona, the bridge build, a Gerudo guard or two, and a minifigure that I'm dying for LEGO to make, Sheik. Since one of the places that Sheik shows up in the game is the Spirit Temple, this would be a good way to get that figure in a set, other than maybe a Kakariko Village set, but that would probably be a bigger build, and I wanted a nice small one, so people can easily get a Link and Sheik minifigure without breaking their wallet. Another no-brainer for me would be a Guardian from Breath of the Wild. Even though Breath of the Wild is represented in the Deku Tree set, I feel like it could use a small set as well. I've seen other brick building companies make their own version of a Guardian, so I know LEGO is capable of it. This could be another simple small set with the Guardian, Link with some ancient arrows, and a paraglider, which I actually made in my own LEGO Breath of the Wild video, or perhaps the Master Cycle Zero, since that would be a cool alternative to Epona since we already put her in the Gerudo Valley set. The Guardians are such an iconic part of Breath of the Wild, and everyone remembers where they were when they first heard. Plus, Breath of the Wild is one of the more widely popular Zelda games, so it's probably more of a lucrative bet for LEGO than an art set of a 3DS Zelda game that came out over 10 years ago. Since I've included Ocarina of Time on here twice, it's only fair that I add a set from its weird, scary, and melancholy little brother, Majora's Mask. I never had a chance to play Majora's Mask until it got remastered in 3D for the 3DS in 2014, but once I finally did, I loved it. And while I made a video where I designed items from Ocarina of Time in LEGO, Majora's Mask is so much harder to do that for, since its weapons and characters have such a weird and distinct design style, so naturally I'm going to leave it up to LEGO to do that and design us a Clock Town set. This could be a bit of a bigger set, since I'd like to see it include the clock tower, as well as a couple shops, the moon obviously, and maybe even the 4 giants? I know, that's some wishful thinking again for sure, but hey, Majora's Mask has such a cult following that I'm sure they'd throw whatever money they had for a full-fledged Clock Town set with all the details they could ever want. I only played Spirit Tracks for a bit, and I never actually beat the game, which is weird for me since I usually always 100% every game I play. But even so, with how many people who build Legos love trains, maybe this is Zelda's chance to corner that market as well. I mean, we got a Bowser train set, so why not make the Spirit Train? This game isn't as beloved as other Zelda games, but it still has the Wind Waker aesthetic that I think would work well with Lego bricks. And like I said before, Lego fans do love their trains. Alright, so I know I said earlier when I was talking about A Link Between Worlds that I wouldn't want your typical Hyrule Field or Hyrule Castle, but listen, we ain't talking about A Link Between Worlds anymore. This was the Zelda game for me as a kid. You're telling me I get to transform into a frickin' wolf in a Zelda game? I was so in, dude. So in this Hyrule Castle set, we'd have to have a molded wolf Link figure, as well as a Midna figure that could ride on top of him. I imagine they could use some of the little bodies that come in some of the dream sets for her. Naturally, we would need some Hyrule Knights or guards, and then of course Zelda and Ganondorf. I feel like Twilight Princess is probably the Zelda game where you spend the most time in and around Hyrule Castle. Whether that be in the castle town, underground in the sewers, or in the field, Twilight Princess is definitely the game that should represent Hyrule Castle in a LEGO set. Seeing as the Lion Knights castle that came out a few years ago cost about $400, I would expect Hyrule Castle to be at least that much, maybe verging on $500 even. And you know what? I don't even care. I'm here for it. Hyrule Castle has been submitted to LEGO Ideas so many times I can't even count, so you know people would be in line for this on day one. I'm honestly surprised they did the Deku Tree before Hyrule Castle, but if LEGO Zelda gets even one more set in the theme, then it has to be this one. So let me know in the comments if any of these LEGO Zelda sets would pique your interest and you'd buy them yourself. Alternatively, let me know what you think should be made for LEGO Zelda sets. This is just the tip of the iceberg that I could come up with, but I'm sure there's more ideas out there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to STUD-SCRIBE, and thanks for watching.